Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We are here with week 7 of the hashtag 52 projects. This I'm calling Valentine's boxes. Yes, we have 3 boxes to get through in our short time frame of 30 minutes, so there's going to be less rambling and more crafting. For the 3 projects, the only thing that you'll need that's extra would be your punch board for box number 2. And that's it. So everything else you should have: your scoreboard, your bone folder, your paper trimmer. For those of you who are visual learners, go ahead and screenshot my notes right here, and you can go ahead and follow along. Box number 1 is by Dani, and her last name is Dziama. Not even going to try to say that. It is called the mini self-close box. I will show you what that is in a second. Let me move this out of the way. So it is this super cute, tiny little box. I know there was several people who did them, but Dani's is the tutorial that I followed. So I'm going to give her credit because I followed her. It is very cute. Here's the bottom. It is a self-close, as you can see, but I added ribbon just to give it that extra pizzazz. If you print your own scrapbook paper at home on 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock, you can actually get all 3 boxes from 1 sheet of paper and still have some left over to decorate. So there's a bonus of that. So we are going to jump right into the self-closed box, and you need a piece of paper that is 4 1/4 by 2 7/8. Okay, I already put it in my scoreboard. 4 1/4 side up top. We are going to score at 2 and 4. Okay, so we have this little 1/4 inch flap. We're going to rotate it around to where your little flap is on top. And so on the short side, we're going to do 1/2 inch. And we are going to do 2 3/8. The 2 3/8 is the tick mark between the 1/4 and the 1/2. So 2 3/8. Okay. Now on one side only, either the top or bottom, we need to make 2 extra score lines. Okay. Just 2 extra score lines on. I'm going to go ahead and do the top. That'll just be easier. We're going to hit it at 1 and 3. Okay. So only on this side, 1 and 3. That's going to be the bottom of our box. So just keep that in mind if you have directional paper. This is going to be the bottom of the box. Okay, these extra score lines. So put your paper in accordingly. Okay, so if you have words, you know, you can do it this way. You can just kind of lightly press, you know, not score in and then hit the 1 and then the 3. If you want to do that, however you want to do it, it's easier. My paper is not directional, so it didn't matter. Okay, that's all the scoreboard that we need. So go ahead and put your scoreboard away, but keep your scoring tool out. And grab your ruler. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show this part in pencil because it'll be easier for you to see. If you're doing a prototype throwaway box and you feel more comfortable using the pencil first, that's fine, but don't use the pencil on your good paper that you're going to keep. Like this, I wouldn't use, you know. So what we're going to do is we need to get a line from the top left to this middle score line, or the first score line. So we're going to make a W essentially. So you have that. And then we're going to do the same. We're going to get your lines. Sorry, my ruler's working on that part, so I don't want to get a jagged edge. Okay. So you have your half a W or your V. And you're going to just continue on here and then here. Okay, that's it. But of course you're going to use your scoring tool, not your pencil. So let me go ahead and do my lines real quick. You can put a mat down underneath or another piece of paper if you don't feel comfortable pressing hard on your scoring thing. I don't mind, so I'm just gonna do mine as is on my desk. It works just fine. And last one. So this is the hardest part. This is the hardest box to do. So if you got this part, you're good to go. We're done with our scoring tool, but you do need your bone folder. So let's go ahead and varnish all of our lines like so. You can make your little tab bigger if you want. You could do it at 4.5 by 2 7/8, so you have that 1/2 inch tab. I didn't mind the 1/4 inch tab, so I know a lot of people like to work in halves, so there's your option. Okay, so what we need to do is go ahead and varnish our W as well. So you're going to fold it, but you see how we're going to keep that puffy and we're going to keep this puffy. So you just want to varnish in between your two score lines here, top and bottom. Don't go outside of that. Okay, you're going to do all 4 lines without going over your top and bottom score marks. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're done. Now all you need to do is do a quick little cut. Well, you're going to do a few cuts. So on your 1/4 inch flap, you're just going to cut out the top and the bottom box. That's it. This one you don't need to do any notches or anything like that. You're just going to cut it straight out. I didn't cut that one straight, so I just fixed it. So you have a little tab. My tab is actually going to be on the left because I decided to do this part as the bottom. Your tab may be on the right. This project does not matter. The only thing that matters is your directional paper. Okay, so the other cuts we need to make, we need to go ahead and cut up these 3 score lines that we made on the bottom. Okay, man, I am not doing a great job cutting today. And we also need to cut on this score line right here on the top. So now you have the top has 2 pieces, the bottom has 4. These are your 4 bottom flaps. And these 2 top pieces are obviously going to be your 2 top pieces. We're going to go ahead and put adhesive on that flap. You can use score tape, you can use glue, whatever you want. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch score tape. You can use your 1/8 inch, whatever you have hanging out on your desk. Varnish that on really well. We're going to go ahead and peel that off. Fold over any overhang. I like to flip my box over and push in the tab and just do it this way. For me, it's easier. If you have an easier method, do it your way. So as you can see, it looks like the top is sealed. It's not. Hence the self-close. It looks great. So on the bottom where you have the 4 flaps, what you're going to do is just pinch the sides so you get your flaps. And on opposite flaps, you're going to put some tape down. It doesn't matter which 2 you pick. They're both going to leave a gap. So I'm just going to pick these 2. And I'm just going to throw some score tape on here. You could use wet glue. I typically use wet glue because for me, wet glue is faster. but for me to apply it, but it takes longer to dry. So if you're making a ton of these for your kids' classroom or your craft fairs, wet glue may be more cost effective than score tape, but you're really using a tiny little bit. All right, so we're gonna get rid of any overhang. You're gonna get your fingers inside, and you're gonna go ahead and get this box closed. Now Dani decided that she didn't like the little gap on the bottom, and so she cut a 1-inch square and covered it. I'm okay with that little gap. It doesn't bother me any, especially on with, you know, designer paper. You can't see it. It's fine. Cardstock is less forgiving, so you're gonna see it. But again, you have to remember that if you're doing it for craft shows or for like your kids' class, they're gonna take the candy and then throw the box out. So I'm not gonna use that extra paper. Your box is essentially done. Now you just want to take your corner rounder. I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, the 1 1/4 punch, and I am gonna go ahead and punch or corner round the sides. So your box is done, and when you pinch it, it opens up. You can put your 2 pieces of Werther's candy in there. I just happen to choose the caramel coffee ones. You have to use the flat ones in this box if you want to, for it to close by itself. If you use the soft caramels, you can fit 2, but it's going to bulge a little bit, which is fine if you're going to put the ribbon on. But if you don't want to put the ribbon and you're just going to put a cute little 2 from on the top, then just do the hard candies. For my ribbon on this one, what I did was I just took my hole puncher, punched 2 little holes, and just tied a beautiful bow in there. Okay, so you're done. All right, let's get to project number 2. Okay, project number 2 are these super cute Ferrero Rocher poppers. This is from the Paper Pixie. You do need your punch board for these. Look at how cute they are. They're so super cute. You need your like I said, you need punch board, and you do need some trim. I suggest using a thinner trim. To me, it looks better. But you can use whatever you want. So you need a piece of paper that measures 4 by 6. Easy, easy. Okay, 4 by 6. 4 by 6. On the 6-inch side, we are scoring at 1 3/8, which is the tick mark between the 1/4 and the 1/2. So 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8. Make sure it's 4 1/8. 5 1/2. Okay, that's all we're doing on the long side. On the short side, we're just going to go ahead and rotate the paper where our short score mark is on the top. And we are going to go at 1 3. Okay, that is all we need for our scoring tool and our score board. We are going to go ahead and varnish all of our lines to make a nice crisp box. Okay, so we got all of those, and now we just need to do our 2 short lines. 1 and 2. Okay, again, those score marks were 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2. Rotated it up, 1 3. Okay, we are going to go ahead and put our score tape on this flap right here. I could just kind of put it, I mean, you can put it in the middle if you want to, don't matter. Like so. Punch board. we need to grab the punch board. I have the Stampin' Up! One. Any of the scoreboards will be, or punch boards are fine. What we're going to do now, on this little flap, we are just going to fold this under, and we're going to punch at 1 and 3. Okay, mine is full, so I need to get rid of these. There we go. Okay, so 1 and 3, so you have something that looks like this. Okay, now you're going to fold this second line down, so you see it looks like this on the back, and you're going to punch again at 1 and 3. This is a little harder with cardstock. When I use like the pattern paper, because it's thinner, it's a lot easier, but with cardstock, this one is a bit of a pain. You're going to fold again and go 1 and 3. Okay, we're going to fold again, and we're going to go 1 and 3. We are going to unfold and go again at 1 and 3. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Can you see where it's going? Now we need to go ahead and make our fringe part, like, you know, if it's a piece of candy, that would be like the side fringe. You're going to line up each of these 4 pieces and kind of try to center it the best you can. Just eyeball it. It does not have to be perfect centering. Don't overthink it. But we are not going to punch on this little flap where your score tape is. Do not mess with that. Okay, so we're going to try to center this as best as we can. Punch. As you can see, I mean, some of them are going to be perfectly centered. Some of them are not. It's not a huge deal, okay? Because when you have candy fringe on the side, it's not centered. Okay, so we did the whole top. Flip it around. Again, we're going to leave that edge alone, and we're going to do these 4 pieces here. Let's see. And actually, because I'm not thinking this and I'm not really looking, I think all of mine have been perfectly centered. That's how it happens. Okay, so you have something that looks like that, right? Okay, so you have your paper that looks like this. I just like my little flaps to the right. I don't know why, but that's just how I craft. It doesn't really matter in this project, but that's just how I craft. What I'm going to do is take my top pieces. I'm going to fold and varnish them down. Okay. And then I'm going to bring my bottom up, and I'm going to go ahead and varnish those. This step just makes it a little bit easier to make the box. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is turn it over, and I'm going to fold this left to right, expose my adhesive, and then fold this little piece over. And varnish that glue in. So if you see here, we have a little piece of overhang on the top and bottom. We're going to go ahead and take our scissors and just cut that off. The top and the bottom. Okay. So there we go. Now we're just going to try to train our paper. It is easier, like I said, with the thinner paper than it is with cardstock. Cardstock wants to give you a little bit of problems, but you're essentially just trying to smash it in to make the sides. So you're just going to kind of play with it and get it in there, shape it up. I use the 3-pack of the Ferrero Rocher from Dollar Tree. You can get one of the big packs, but this is what I did. All right. Okay, so just keep, just kind of manipulate paper. What I like to do is just kind of Squeeze it like this so the middle is a little fluffy, and then it'll go in just fine. So, like I said, it's easier with the thinner paper than it is with a cardstock, but cardstock will work. Take your piece of cord or trim or ribbon or whatever you're using, and you're just going to go ahead and tie it around on one side. I'm using a piece of scrap cord, so this might be a little bit harder to do. It's kind of too small, but it'll work. So we're just going to go ahead and tie it. And so you see, once you get that trim on, it's easier to work out. And then what we're going to do is just kind of fluff any parts that popped out. And then you'll put your candy inside and you're good to go. And I will show you that on actually a piece. I need this last scrap. This is all I have left and I need it for a swap that I'm doing. So all I did was tie the one side with the cord, open up the candy, pop it in your box, and it fits perfectly. And you're just going to do the same thing, and you're just going to tie it around this side here, and we're going to just do that, and we're just going to double knot it. Of course, I would, you know, pick some trim that I only had a little bit for. Okay, so we got those, and then you'll just, you know, fix it round. And this one came loose as I was tying the other one. So I'll just retie this in a double knot. There you go. And then you'll just trim your ribbon or whatever, however you want it, and decorate how you want. So that is box number 2. Super cute. And these are the samples I have. I haven't decorated them yet because I haven't decided which way I'm going to go with them. And here is the red one that I did with the cardstock. Okay, let's get our supplies ready for box number 3. Okay, box number 3 is from Sally Stampers. I did not write down the name of this video, but I'm sure if you Google search Sally Stampers Ferrero Rocher box, you'll get this one. It's very easy to make. It holds the little candy in there. It moves around, but I mean, it's fine. It's not going to fall out. As you can see, I have it sideways, whatnot. She used the Stampin' Up! Tag Topper Punch, which I didn't have. So I just rounded the corners, and I still think it looks really, really cute. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You need 2 pieces of paper. You can use your pattern paper or you can use your cardstock. She used cardstock and decorated it with little strips of paper here. But even if you just have it, you know, this off-white and the gold showing through, I think it looks gorgeous if I had like a gold bow. It doesn't have to be super fancy, especially again if you're doing your craft fairs or for your kids' classrooms. Okay, so you need 2 pieces of paper, one at 2 by 8, and the other piece is going to be 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Well, 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. I say it either way, and then sometimes people ask me, you know, it's the same measurement, but what else? I cater to everyone. Okay, so on the 2 by 8 piece of paper, on the 8-inch side, you are going to score at 1, 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 4 3/4, and at 7. Okay, so 1, 3 1/4, 4 3/4, and 7. Can just push that to the side. On your 2 1/4 by 2 3/4, you're going to score at 3/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. 3/8 of an inch is the tick mark between the 1/4 and the 1/2. So 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, rotate 3/8 of an inch, rotate 3/8 of an inch. Okay, that's all the scoring we need to do. That's it. Okay, so now you just need to go ahead and varnish your pieces. Okay, all my pieces are burnished. I just did it off camera real fast. Okay, so the only cut marks you need to do is cut your flaps. So you're just going to make one cut there, one cut there, flip it around, one cut, and one cut. So you have something that looks like this when you fold the flaps in. You're just putting the box together. You can use, again, whatever adhesive that you choose. I'm using little pieces of score tape just so I don't have to wait for glue drying time. I was almost spot on. Just make sure if you're using score tape, you remove, fold over any overhang that you have, so that way you're not ruining your box. Okay, so, oh my gosh, this backing is not coming off. There we go. Just gonna fold up that overhang and take all my, actually, I'm just gonna take all the score tape backings off and fold up any overhang and fold up the overhang. Okay, and you're just gonna put your box together like you normally would put a box together. I didn't wedge into any of these. It's so tiny, it's very forgiving. You could take a little chunk out if you want to. You're not gonna really see it, so you will be okay. Because you're just making the tiniest little tray ever. See how cute that is? It's so tiny. This tray is going to fit very snug on these measurements. Now, Sally did hers to where her tray was slightly smaller than the measurements I gave you. You can cut the hair off if you want to, like the little tiny sliver. But I found that the box, since we're not sealing it, it's very forgiving, so I didn't feel we needed to do that part or explain that part. So before you glue your tray down, you want to go ahead and do your decorations. Like I said, the top part of the box, she had the fancy punch that made the top look like a tag, and it had a little hole in it. I don't have that fancy punch, and so all I did was go ahead and push my two sides together. So I made the triangle, the tent, and I took my corner rounder on the 1/2 inch, and I went ahead and I rounded my corners. It still looks absolutely amazing if you don't have those punches. Now, to do the bow, I just punched 2 holes in the top, and I'll show you that in a second, but we want to go ahead and finish decorating. Now, she put the window on both sides. I only wanted the window on one side. I used 1 1/4 inch scallop circle. You can use a bigger one if you want, but I felt this one was good enough. Just try to center it as best as you can. If you are going to add strips of pattern paper, you can. So Sally added like these 3/4 inch little strips of paper just to give it some pizzazz on the top and the bottom. You can definitely do that. So for instance, I cut my paper at 3/8 of an inch, you can do bigger or smaller. Mine would look like this if I were to attach it on the top and the bottom. So it would look like this if that's what you wanted to do. Now on this one, I just kept it at the golden cream color, and I'm actually going to change this ribbon to gold to just kind of match the foil on the treat. This one, you know, you can add red, you can add, you know, whatever you want to the top. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue my tray down. And I'm just going to use some wet glue. It's our glitter glue in a little container. And I'm going to actually put the glue on the paper here. But like I said, the box is the exact size of this. So it's a little snug fit, but it works, it's fine. You can add pattern paper to the tray if you like, you know, inside the tray, make it a little bit more fancy. It's up to you. So you are essentially done. Pop your candy in there like so. And if you want to close it how I have closed it, you're just going to take your hole punch and you're just going to punch 2 holes as best as you can in the middle. And you're going to take your ribbon and you're just going to tie it in. So yeah, so that's all it is to the project. Very simple. Oh, also on this one, I did put a piece of acetate for the window. You don't have to. It looks really cute without the window, but I just wanted that extra piece of paper there. And so you can leave it open or you can add the window. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed all 3 boxes. We did go a little faster than normal, but I hope, you know, it wasn't too fast. You guys can always pause and rewind. So thank you so much. I hope you try out these projects, and happy Valentine's Day, guys. Bye.